Three skills that every CA student must build. No, I'm not going to talk about AI or learning any ERP or Excel VBA. I'm not saying they are bad skills to learn or underestimating their importance. Of course, they are important. But if you are doing CA, skills like AI or Excel VBA, you will learn eventually out of sheer necessity. The skills that I'm going to talk about in this video are so fundamental. These skills are right under our radar all the while, but somehow we miss to notice them. But once you start building these skills, in a matter of 18 to 24 months, you will absolutely reap compounded returns. They are directly connected with your exam performance, they help you in your articleship, and they give you a phenomenal edge post qualification as well. I personally have been building up these skills for more than 3 years now, and they have immensely helped me in my career and what I do now. Also, apart from sharing what the skills are, I will be giving you a complete framework on how to integrate these skills into your daily life through doable habits every day. So grab a pen and paper and make notes. Skill number 1. During the year 2020, just before the first wave of COVID, I quit my corporate job with the plan that I wanted to become a self-published author. At that time, I had started nothing on the book. I don't know the title, I don't know the chapters, I don't even know the outline. The only thing I knew was that it should be a book for CA students. So, after coming out of corporate, starting my self employed journey was completely new to me. I was my own boss and I was my own employee. And that started a new problem. I was just doing any type of activity that my mind was ordering me to. I was all over the place and there was no control. I started the book project early in February 2020, and before I knew it, it was almost the end of August. 5 months had gone, and I still hadn't made any decent progress in the book. So, how did I overcome this chaos? In my articleship and in my job, we used to fill up this thing called timesheet. The truth is, none of us would do it the way it should be done. The timesheet would be empty for a long period, and every time we got a hint that our boss was going to review it, we would just fill it up with rough details so that the entries look reasonable and believable so that the partner doesn't get angry. But somewhere during August 2020, I had a sudden thought, why don't I implement this system of timesheets for myself? Only this time I wanted to do it accurately and seriously. I started to note down every activity that I was doing. If I was speaking over the phone, I noted it down. If I was writing, I noted it down. And if I was watching a TV series, I noted it down. I noted every last detail: start time, end time, duration. Now, how long do you think I followed this system properly? 1.5 days. Beyond that, time tracking became the main activity instead of doing any meaningful work. Just in 1.5 days, my time log accumulated around 70 line items. It became a tedious job and I stopped doing it eventually. But then I slightly tweaked the process. I decided that instead of noting down every activity, I would just capture two data. One was the time I was doing the most important task of the day, which was actually writing the first draft, and two was the time that I spent on my phone, which I directly took from my phone's digital well-being data. At the end of the day, I tallied two numbers: time spent on writing and time spent on the phone. Now, because I had only two data to track, my consistency to track also improved. You won't believe it, but in the early days, my writing time only clocked about 1 hour per day, and my daily phone usage was more than 4 hours on average. But I didn't panic or lose hope. I just kept tracking. 1 week passed, 2 weeks passed. Eventually, I started to see the pattern change. My writing and editing time slowly increased, and my phone usage time reduced from 4 hours to 2 hours on average. With enough time passing, I slowly kept adding one more activity to track. For example, 1 month later, I was tracking my reading and research time. Then 1 more month later, I started tracking my workout routines as well. This way, eventually, I started tracking all the productive activities every day, and then my life completely changed. From where I was in complete chaos in August 2020, by January 2022, I was clocking easily 6.5 to 7 hours on productive activities every day. In 2022, I did a total productive hour count of 1923 hours. In 2023, it increased to 2340 hours. In 2024, I have already crossed well over 1000 hours, projecting to touch 3000 hours quite easily. As you can see, the more I tracked my productive hours meticulously, the more productive I became. I will make a separate video about my entire productivity system and how I plan my year, week and day and talk about them in detail in that video. So the number one skill every CA student must build is time awareness. We all tend to keep track of the money we receive and spend. We feel the tinge of pain every time we need to pay somebody, but we don't feel the same pain when we are about to lose 30 minutes. We think money is a finite resource and time is infinite, which is quite exactly the other way. Once a person gets incredibly aware of how every minute of their waking time is spent, they can see themselves naturally making right choices. Our brains are so wise to course correct themselves when we become aware of the path that we are traveling. So now let me tell you how you can build this skill of time awareness into a habit. For the next 4 weeks, simply track two activities: the time you spend studying and the time you spend using your mobile. By time spent studying, I mean self-study, class hours, everything. If you are already working somewhere, track one more activity, that is the time you spend in your articleship or job. Don't try to modify your behavior. Just keep doing whatever you normally do on a day-to-day basis. But just have the activities noted and keep monitoring. Right after the first 2 weeks, you will see a normal pattern of how much stake these activities hold in your daily wake-up hours. After 2 weeks, you will start to notice a change in your behavior, your decisions, and your priorities. You will naturally see your time spent on studies increase and time consumed in mobile usage decrease without having to push yourself. If you cross a 4 week period and if you have noted down the data for all 28 days without fail, then you can start to track one more productive activity like working out, journaling, or meditation. And then eventually this tracking of time will become second nature. For me, tracking my activities has become so ingrained now, it is like brushing my teeth or eating. And where you track your time is totally up to you. You can track it in a notebook or you can do it digitally through some notes app or Google Sheets. Just finalize one place that is most accessible to you and keep all the data collected in that one place. Don't maintain like 3 different places and have your data scattered all over the place. That will only lead to clutter and not to any insights. The number one reason why a CA student fails the exam is because of a lack of self-governance. Just get started with tracking your time and you will see your self-governance muscle just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So before we move on to the next skill, I have created some maxims for you. Note them down and read them quite often. Time awareness is the greatest skill you can ever build. Yes, it is a skill. Track your time before you track your money. What you measure stays in control. What you track gets optimized. Alright, let's move on to skill number 2. The second most important skill every CA student should possess is writing. No, don't misunderstand this with communication skills. I am also not talking about soft skills. When I say writing, I mean writing with your hand on paper or typing in a computer. Writing words, writing passages. Now, don't skip the video by saying that you are a numbers person, so you don't need to learn to write. Let me explain. Writing is a mature thinking process where your thoughts get the best shape. When we write, we apply the utmost mental filters possible and we refine our thoughts and put them out into this world for everybody's benefit. That's why we love poems and books. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying your end goal through building this skill is that you should become the next J.K. Rowling or J.R.R. Tolkien. What I'm trying to say is that you should be skilled enough in writing, thereby there is some power in your words. When you put out something into the world in the form of a blog post or a social media comment or even an inter-department office email, it should be precise, persuasive, and leave a positive impact on the person at the other end. I have been writing on and off over the last 12 years and I have been writing professionally since 2018. Over the last 6 years, I have written multiple blog posts and articles, I have authored a book, and I have been writing for my videos. Recently, I have been receiving many positive feedback on the lines like, your videos are good, they are fresh and different, and your language is good. I will tell you a simple secret. The reason for the uniqueness of my videos is 80% writing. It's all scripted and I care about each and every word that goes into the script and gets uttered on the screen. So, like time tracking, writing also has changed my life. I am extremely sure that it will change your life too. Now let's see how you can build your writing skills. If you are completely raw and if you feel underconfident about your language skills, then I would say you start your writing practice in your mother tongue. In the early days, don't write on a computer. Just start writing with a pen and paper. If you use a computer, it's easy to edit and you would only be focused on editing your text to perfection instead of just writing in free flow. So just get started with a pen and paper and have a daily writing goal of 3 sentences, a minimum of 3. Okay, what should you write in those 3 sentences? You write anything about which you have a strong connection and your thoughts could just keep flowing without any need to think deeply. I will give you some prompts so that you can use them in your daily writing practice. On day 1, you list down what are your 3 most favorite songs. Write about what's so special about them. Is it the lyrics or the music, or was it a particular phase of your life when you heard them? What made them so close to you? For the next 4 to 5 days, do the same by writing about your 3 favorite books, movies, sports personalities, etc. After you write for 4 to 5 days about your most favorites, now for the next 5 days, keep writing about the songs, the movies, and the books you dislike the most. And again, write in 3 sentences why you don't like them. This way, you can easily find something to write for 10 to 12 days. Then you read all the passages you wrote for those 10 days. You would be surprised by the fact that how your usage of words, sentence patterns, and flow of language start to improve slowly. So, after doing this, now you can take your phone and pick the top 30 contacts. For the next 30 days, you write 5 lines about each of those 30 people every day. Write widely about them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. By now, you would be 40 days into the habit. Now, read the passage you wrote on day 1 and read the passage you wrote on day 40. Compare both of them and see the improvements, both in terms of quantity and quality. Once you establish this daily writing routine, then you can slowly start to explore complex areas like what do you think about the current economic situation, how a city should be planned, or how your favorite cricket team can win a championship, so on and so forth. Here I would like to add that when you are done with the first 40 days of writing practice and when you want to move on to complex areas, that's when you should start reading better books and articles. Remember, writing is an output activity, and the quality of your output is directly correlated with the quality of your input. For the output of writing, reading is a great input. When you read more, you will learn more words and you will use those words involuntarily in your writing, and you will see the precision in your language improve by miles. Now, a word of caution is that your first objective is to build a writing routine, that is, to write more words. Go for the quantity first. Don't worry about grammatical mistakes. Don't second guess about the quality of your writing. It will take time for you to reach a certain level. I have been writing for more than 12 years now and I still make a lot of grammatical errors. I never let anybody read my first drafts. So mistakes are totally okay. Just embrace them and keep making more of them. Also, in the early days, keep your daily writing quota to just 3 to 7 sentences or 12 to 15 minutes maximum. Since the prompts I gave are thought provoking, don't end up writing till exhaustion and then the next day you won't even feel like you should be writing. Take it slow and always maintain the rhythm. Skill number 3, fundamental analysis. The third most important skill that every CA student must have is to be able to do fundamental analysis. In other words, to be comfortable in reading annual reports of a company. I am specifically focused on annual reports and I am not talking about reading business newspapers or magazines. Newspapers and magazines are good for beginners and they give a generalist perspective on business and economy. But the skill I want you to build is the ability to read the financial statements of a company, to dissect them, and to cull out as many new insights from them as possible. As an aspiring CA, this one skill will put you in the top 1% of your field. The level of confidence and control you get in your work once you build this skill is immeasurable. The benefits you gain through this skill are threefold. 1. On the academic level, all the statutory provisions of, say, the Companies Act, SEBI regulations, and CARO that you read and maybe find vague, you will see them in real action here. And the second is on the professional level. You will get to know how comprehensive a listed company can get and the countless number of disclosures that are involved. This skill will also help you in building better audit checklists. It will improve the quality of the questions you ask in your client place. And lastly, on the personal level, tomorrow if you become a CA, when you make some decent income and if you want to get into investing, you can pick companies for your portfolio on your own. Instead of relying on word of mouth or the media hype, you can do your own analysis and pick much safer and better companies. Now let's see how to build this skill. Pick your favorite listed company, go to their website and download their latest annual report. A typical annual report will range from 350 pages to 500 pages, bigger than your auditing and law material combined. But don't let this overwhelm you. In the early days, let's say for the first 30 days, your only task is to open the file and just scroll through it. You can keep this activity for 10 to 15 minutes per day, depending on your time availability and motivation levels. I will tell you in advance that when you are totally new to this, when you open the file, you will be uncomfortable because almost everything you see in there would be absolutely new to you. Imagine it's like you recently moved into a new city. Every place you see in the city is completely new to you, but you just keep going where you want to be going, right? That's the same approach you need to follow here as well. It's just a new territory for the time being, so keep walking on. After you have enough exposure through scrolling, you will find that every annual report follows a similar structure. Get familiar with that structure. Like first comes the performance snapshot, then the chairperson's letter, then the management's discussion and analysis, then the statutory reports like governance and risk management, and finally the financial statements. When the layout becomes predictable, then you go for the numbers. You can start performing in-depth analysis. You can compute some key ratios and make your own assessment of that company for that year. This will complete one annual report. Then you pick the next company and so on. By the time you come to the fifth or sixth annual report, you will automatically know what are the key areas and what don't matter much. The learning curve will kick in. All the skills I mentioned in this video are something you start to build today and you keep building them infinitely. There is no ending to it. These skills are not like what they do in boot camps. Slog in 15 hours per day for 1 week and then you get a certificate. These skills are also highly compounding in nature, meaning at first you will be building these skills at a slow pace and you won't see any bit of difference happening in your life. But you give yourself at least 2.5 to 3 years, and if you still keep at it till that time, you won't believe the benefits that will start to accrue all of a sudden. And I'm very sure these skills will put you in the top 1%. You can definitely let me know after 1 month or say 3 months on how you have been implementing these skills and the progress that you're able to see, or what are the obstacles that you are encountering while implementing them. I would be happy to read them. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.